Hey y'all, it's me, the one and only Fonty.
Hey y'all, it's me, the one and only Fonty, and today we will be reacting to 12 horror stories animated. Alright, look, I'm chicken. I admit it, I'm a chicken.
Look at all those chickens.
I'm not watching this at night. I'm not trying to watch it at night. But if this video can get at least 10 likes, I'm gonna watch it at night. I'm only watch 2 of these, but I'm gonna watch another 2 at 3 a.m. If I get 10 likes. Simple. But like, make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment. Y'all know what to do. Notification bell. You'll be notified every time I post another banger. It's only bangers, like, you don't do no boring crap on here. But like, I should start watching this. I'm really not trying to. I got my blanket and everything.
My name is Dan. This happened 3 years ago. I moved out of my parents' house once I started making a steady paycheck. I'm a plumber, and one day I had to go to someone's house to fix some pipes. There was a married couple and their daughter living there. Their daughter was 22 at the time. She was 6 months older than me, and her name was Amanda. While I was working, she was talking to me, asking if I was single and stuff like that. And to be honest, she seemed pretty cute. We exchanged phone numbers and eventually started dating, and she even moved into my house. We were 3 months into our relationship, and stuff started to get out of hand. She was always getting mad and annoyed so easily. She always started arguments, and so on. This began to happen all the time,
out of nowhere.
even in public, which was incredibly embarrassing. One day I had enough, and I had to break up with her, and I told her to leave and never come back. Amanda was pretty pissed off when I said that. I just ignored her. And
That girl's psycho, I can already tell.
Or so I thought. After that day, she would always show up at my house, harass me, throw rocks at my window, and so on.
What?
I'd called the cops many times, but she was gone by the time they showed up. About a month later, when I came home from working, I would find her in her house, yelling at me to come back, or I'd find writing on my walls that would say, "Come back, or I'll kill you." The writing eventually went from pencil to marker, and then her own fucking blood. And Jess, I'm being serious when I said blood. That bitch carved my name a bunch of times into her arms and legs.
Oh my
She only got
God.
into my house because I forgot to take the house key back from her at the time.
Psycho.
I'm such an idiot. I know. That psycho knew where my parents lived and showed up to their house during the night. My mom almost had a heart attack when she woke up to the sound of a knife being tapped on the window glass. When she woke up, she saw me.
Bro, get a life.
Staring at her while psychotically smiling at her. Amanda did a lot, which really pissed me off, so one night, I decided to stay overnight at my parents' house. It was about 2 in the morning when I heard a tapping noise in the window next to me. I turned and saw Amanda staring right at me. Her eyes were wide open and red. She had bags under her eyes and a huge smile. I went outside and started yelling at her to stay away from me and my family, but she screamed at the top of her lungs and charged at me with a knife. I punched her right in the face, which knocked her out. I called the cops and made sure Amanda didn't wake up while they were arriving. The cops came quickly while Amanda was knocked out. They found my house key on her, and she was arrested and eventually sentenced for a long while.
Oh, thank
After Amanda
God.
was sentenced, my parents and I moved out of state because we'd like to stay as far away from Amanda as we possibly can, because she will eventually be released.
Oh! Oh my God, bro. I'm not even trying to be fake, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you. I actually got scared.
Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop your fucking lying.
Woo! Oh my gosh.
This happened to me at the beginning of this year, just after I
Okay,
lost
so I'm guessing these stories are kind of short, so I'm gonna watch 3 actually.
my husband to meningitis. I had moved in with my father and taken a job at a local hotel. It was a nice, cushy job that wasn't very stressful, and it was also nice to me in my grief-stricken state. The job was the night shift front desk manager position. So I was watching scary movies or listening to creepy podcasts that seemed to help keep me awake.
At
My
night?
husband had never liked scary things like I did, so it was nice getting back to something that was mine. Being the night worker, I was always by myself during my shift. The hotel was new, so it wasn't creepy to be by myself, especially since there was always someone around as far as guests went, and on top of that, my boss was always a phone call away. I knew I'd have backup if needed. Anyway, it was
Seems
a
kind of
night
secure.
like any other. I was in the back office behind the desk, watching the cameras and listening to a podcast while twirling a pen around, waiting for hours to tick away. The hotel was pretty empty, so I felt more alone than usual. I looked down at my phone as my podcast ended and went to pick another one when I noticed movement outside the building on the cameras.
It's
A
starting.
guest was walking in. I hadn't seen a car pull in from the driveway camera, but I chalked it up to me just not paying attention and went to the desk. The man walked in and I quickly noticed his clothes were dirty,
This man is
tattered, and
rugged,
that
bro.
he had this odd smell to him. Metallic smelling. I shook
Blood.
off the weird feeling and looked up at his face before greeting him. And I noticed that his eyes weren't on me, but the wall behind, just above me. I followed his gaze, wondering what he could be looking at, but there wasn't anything there. I was confused, but thought maybe he was lost in thought. I greeted him again, but his gaze still remained on the wall. I was starting to get freaked out, but kept my cool and cleared my throat. "Sir, is there something I can help you with?" I asked more firmly. Quickly, his eyes flicked down, and those eyes were wide and crazy looking. It startled me enough that I took a small step back. His previously blank expression grew into that of a crazed,
Oh
wide
man,
smile.
we got
He was
Pennywise in
missing
here.
teeth, and the second his
Oh,
lips
come on.
parted, I could smell his rotten breath.
She a freak? How you know she a freak?
Oh my fuck.
It made my stomach churn. Before I could open my mouth, I watched his eyes slowly creep up and down my body, as if he were
I can smell his
undressing me
breath
with his
through the
eyes.
mic.
Are you sure about that?
Oh my
Then
god.
his eyes moved to my hand, and his smile faded into a hate-filled glare. His eyes were on my wedding ring. Well, yes, I still wore it, as I wasn't ready to give it up yet. "What the heck is that?" he asked, his voice thick and gruff and full of anger. "My wedding ring, sir. I'm married," I said, thinking maybe he was drunk. His glare got worse as his eyes met mine again. "Married? You lying bitch! You never told me you were married! You lied to me!" "Sir, I don't know what you're talking about, and I'm afraid that I'm going to have to ask you to leave." I was so scared at that moment, but tried desperately not to cry. He was still shouting at me. "So, you're kicking me out of my own home? You're a little hussy. I'm taking what's owed to me. Get over here!" He reached across the counter to try and grab me, and I let out a scream, stumbled back, tripping over my long skirt. I crawled quickly for the office door as he rushed to the counter. He grabbed my shirt, tearing it down the back as I went to slam the door shut, and I slammed it on his hand, making him scream in pain as I heard the bones break. As he let me go, I managed to finally shut and lock it before going into my boss's office. And as I dialed 911, I could hear him screaming at the office door, kicking as hard as he could to get it open. The operator stayed on the phone with me until the cops arrived. It took 3 grown officers and a taser gun to take him down and get him in the car.
Jesus,
When
bro.
everything was safe, I was sat down for a statement, and my boss and father were called. As my father was getting me into his truck, I heard an officer say that the man was a highly wanted man from Florida who had escaped a psychiatric facility. After he escaped the facility, he went looking for young brunette girls who were heavyset like me, or rather like his late wife. He had killed her and cut out her eyes and breasts, and done the same to 2
Oh!
in Alabama.
Oh! Cut out their eyes and breasts? Man's just gonna have to chill out with that. He got to chill out. Oh my gosh, bro. Man's just taking eyes now? Is this Naruto? Taking eyes? Like, it's like, okay, whatever.
So I could only guess he planned to do the same to me. Thank God for strong deadbolts and all of the police officers.
I used to work at a call center company.
Alright, it's the
my
last
shift
one. I'm
started
done
at
after
11 p.m.
this.
Since training, I'd heard a lot of ghost stories about our building. Of course, I didn't believe them, and I really wouldn't have cared anyway because all I cared about was work. One night, I went on a short break to go to the comfort room. Our office is located at the left corner of the building, and usually it's quite dark compared to the other office corners. I normally use the comfort room in the middle of our building because it's bigger and a lot of people go there. But since it was just a short break, I chose to use the executive's comfort room because it was much closer. Besides, it was always clean and looked a lot nicer compared to the other ones. When you enter the comfort room, the first thing you see on your right side are 2 sinks, a large mirror, and 2 lights above them. Then there are 3 cubicles on the right side and 2 cubicles on the left side of the room. When I entered, I noticed that the room was a little bit darker than usual.
Of course
Some
it
of the
is.
lights went
It's always,
on,
it always
and only
is.
the
Like,
cubicle in the corner on the right side had paper left, so I entered that one. When I was sitting on the toilet, I heard someone come in and enter the
better
cubicle
put
next
your
to
feet
mine.
up.
And then I heard a woman crying. I tried to ask if she was okay, but she just kept crying. As I finished my business and stood up, the crying suddenly stopped. Concerned, I stood outside the door of the middle cubicle, knocked slightly and asked again if she was okay,
Man, don't do that.
but there was still no answer. I tried peeking under the cubicle door, but no one was in there. But I could have sworn I heard someone come in earlier. I felt a bit spooked as I remembered the ghost stories that my coworkers used to tell about our building.
I'm black. I would have dipped. Like, I wouldn't be messing with that. I would have
I started walking fast
blitzed
to the
out of
exit,
there, bro.
but somehow the doorknob
Bro,
that
I
was
would have been
fine when I
like
entered was now
Sonic
broken,
Dash up in
and I
there.
couldn't
Run.
get the door to open. I was getting actually scared. The
Oh
crying
man.
began again. I started banging on the door and shaking the doorknob. There was no use. And then the sound of the woman crying started getting closer. Panicking, I also started crying while banging desperately on the door. The crying stopped. I could feel the woman standing right behind me. One of the lights in the ceiling started flickering, and the door still wouldn't open. I tried to avoid looking back in fear of what I might see, but from the corner of my eye, I saw in the mirror a reflection of a woman in the flickering light.
Whoa.
Standing at my back.
Oh, my heart. My heart. My heart. My heart. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Her lips are chapped.
Half of her face was visible in one of the cubicle doorways. I closed my eyes. I was soaked in cold sweat. I remember shaking from fear, thinking I was going to die. I started praying as I cried. Only a minute or 2, though it felt much longer, passed before the door suddenly opened and a maintenance lady stepped in. I was so relieved. I told her about what had happened, but she just apologized for the broken doorknob and ignored everything I said about the crying woman. I went straight to the office and apologized to my supervisor for coming back late from my break. I tried to tell her about what happened and told her that I was not feeling well, that I didn't think I could finish my shift that night. She didn't seem to believe my story. I warned my coworkers as well and told them about my scary toilet trip. I never went back to that comfort room ever again, and eventually left my job a few months later.
Oh man. Alright. This is gonna be the next one. I'm not watching it now. Comment down below if y'all want me to watch this next one at 3 a.m. Holy, my heart. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment. Y'all know what to do. Peace. Oh my gosh, what is that? What is that? What is that?